The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv.
Brownells helps make this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. Selection, service, satisfaction. Find it all at Brownells. Go to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. Welcome to episode 87 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Chatelain, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Well, welcome to the show. This week we have an awesome interview with Kelly McMillan of the McMillan Group International and McMillan Merchant Solutions. This interview couldn't have come at a more timely time, I guess, because in the news, we have one of the nation's largest gun stores, gun retailers, their credit card processor has yanked their merchant account. And, we'll talk to Kelly on how he's providing merchant credit card processing solutions to the firearms industry. So, but first, I have a few announcements. First of all, I'd like to thank my friends who have donated to the Firearms Insider. Several regular listeners to the Gun Guy Radio and Firearms Radio Network have donated to the Firearms Insider. And what is the Firearms Insider? Well, the Firearms Insider is our new community site that we're launching October 15th, and it's going to feature blogs, reviews of guns and gear, stories of, for example, Carol Gets a Gun. Carol from the Fat to Fit podcast is getting a gun. She's the only one on the network who is not really a gun person, but she's getting into it. She's very excited. She's getting into it partly because she's concerned about her family safety. Her husband and her three kids, she feels they're vulnerable without having a firearm in the house. So she wants to take that step, her and her husband, but they want to do it right. So we're, starting them off with safety and fundamentals and getting some real training. And we're documenting all this, or we're going to collect all this content and put it together in kind of a documentary style format. So this is just one of the very cool things that we're doing over at the Firearms Insider. There's going to be gun and gear reviews that say I review a Glock pistol, for example, a Glock 17. Say I review it, I'll take you through 8 steps of the review. So it's going to have, the reviews are going to kind of have a standard format to them, so you kind of know what to expect. Just like this podcast radio show or any of the podcasts on the network, they all have a format. You know what to expect. So these reviews, I'll take you through the Glock 17, tell you what I like, what I don't like, why I think it gets the score that I come up with. So let's say I give it an 8.0 out of 10 points. And then you see that, and then you can scroll down to the bottom, and you can be like, maybe it should have a 9. And you can leave your own review. You can say, yeah, give that a 9 out of 10, and this is why. And so it's a real community type review site where you can, change the outcome. Really, I mean, if I or one of the other reviewers gives something a score, and then the community comes back with 100 reviews that averages something completely different, well, that's going to show, and you can see that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. It's also going to have blogs where I'm going to launch it with a couple blog posts the first week, and other personalities of the network, and even outside the network, but within the firearms industry, will also be, doing blog posts, doing training tips and whatnot. And so it's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. It's hard to explain over the audio here, but it's going to launch October 15th, so you can see it in its beginning phases then, and just watch it build over the next year. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. At least I think it will be. But you can help us raise $1,000 to prepay the hosting for the Firearms Insider. So we need a little bit better server than we currently host everything else on. So we're moving up to a Flex VPS, and we're looking to prepay it for a year so we can save 10%. So if you'd like to contribute to our Firearms Insider mission, you can go to firearmsradio.tv/donate. Again, that's firearmsradio.tv/donate. And I thank you ahead of time if you choose to contribute. Again, thank you for the few guys that have already contributed. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also, I welcome 2 new shows to the Firearms Radio Network. I'm so excited. We have 2 rifle-related podcasts on the network now. This is an area where we've been lacking, and we have the Precision Rifle Podcast and the Competitive Rifle Podcast, both in the same week. So how cool is that? I'm pretty excited because I'm clueless when it comes to long-range shooting and precision rifle shooting. And, well, you know me, I host the AR-15 podcast, but I'm not the brains of it because I'm the newbie over there. Reed is the old crusty Marine that really knows his AR-15s, and I'm learning. And I walked you through, my learning experience over there at AR-15 podcast, and I know way more than I did a year ago. But now Kirk and Dan of the Precision Rifle Podcast can walk you through precision rifle shooting. If you're a newbie, they can give you tips on whether what kind of scope to get, or what to do to sight in your scope and stuff like that. And then Chad and Micah at the Competitive Rifle Podcast will take you through like high power shooting, collegiate shooting. Chad runs a collegiate shooting program at the University of Wisconsin Superior, and Micah competes in F-class shooting, so all that's F-class, A-class, whatever. I have no idea what that means, but for those of you guys that are into high-power shooting and into small bore or whatever, will know what they're talking about and eat it up, and because it's great content. They already have 2 episodes out, and I'm getting into it. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a hankering to read up on high power shooting and small bore and all that stuff, because it sounds like a lot of fun, because I'm more of an accuracy guy anyways, so seems like it'd be something up my alley. But so yeah, check out Competitive Rifle Podcast, competitiverifle.com, and it's on iTunes, so search for Competitive Rifle Podcast. And also, Kirk and Dan's show, the Precision Rifle Podcast, is also on iTunes, and it's at precisionriflepodcast.com. So these new shows on the network, we just added the We Like Shooting podcast as well, and not too long ago, the Handgun Radio podcast. Just really great content, really great guys. I really can't thank them enough for they're basically volunteering all their time to do this and to provide all this content to you, the listener, to provide it to, fellow gun guys out there that are craving this content and can't find it anywhere else. So, and don't forget to subscribe to the Firearms Radio Network's master feed. That's where you could have caught maybe you did, but the pilots for these 2 podcasts. The first 2 or 3 episodes of each of these first premiered at the Firearms Radio Network's master feed, which all you have to do is type Firearms Radio in iTunes, and the master feed, you'll see it. It's got only the Firearms Radio logo on it with a white background. It looks different from all the other shows. But you can subscribe to that, and each of the podcasts show up in that Master Feed, and the pilot episodes too as well, because we're always adding new shows here at the Firearms Radio Network. Welcome back to the main topic on Gun Guy Radio. It's my pleasure to welcome Kelly McMillan from the McMillan Group International. Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Great. Well, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the McMillan Group, the McMillan fiberglass rifle stocks. You guys have been around for 40 years. I guess one of the first well-known things you guys did was the Marine Corps adopted the M40A1 stock in 1975. Is that right?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, shortly after Vietnam War ended, the Marines had realized how successful their sniper rifle program was and how ineffective the M16 program was. I think that they expended like 229,000 rounds per casualty for the M16s and something like 29 rounds for their sniper rifles. So they thought, well, we really need to figure out how to do this better. So they actually asked my father, if you were going to build one of these rifles, how would you build it? And obviously he put a fiberglass stock on it, but he also suggested a Remington 700 as opposed to a Model 70, which a lot of their early M40s were, and a heavy barrel. And basically, he pretty much put together what they adopted as their M40A1 as the first prototype that he showed him.
Well, it's just a great American legacy that your father, Gail McMillan, founded back in 40 years ago. And you didn't stop there. Your father, the McMillan family, I guess it's a third-generation business now. You guys just keep innovating time again and again and again. I could label everything that you guys have done, but we'll be here all day. But I guess another thing people may have known you for is the M-TAC or the TAC 50 rifle in 1996.
Yeah, that's correct. The TAC 50. My father actually built the first bolt-action 50 caliber rifle, the M86, obviously in 1986. Shortly after Barrett had designed the semi-automatic, but they wanted something that could shoot a little more accurately, so we put together a bolt gun. And from that time, it basically developed into the TAC 50, probably the best well-known long-range sniper rifle in the world. Used by a number of our allies around the world. The Canadians are probably the most famous. Obviously, our Navy SEALs use the product as well. As a matter of fact, a Canadian sniper, Rob Furlong, held the record for the longest confirmed kill in combat for, since 2003 until about a year and a half ago when it was broken, but it was done with a TAC 50.
That's amazing. I did not realize that was a McMillan rifle. So
yep. Very,
very cool. And it's not just rifle stocks, even ammunition. You seem like you guys have a finger in many pies over there.
Well, I have to be honest that the reason that we're in the ammunition business is because we found it very difficult to get people to understand how accurate our rifles were when they continually tried to shoot factory ammo through it. And not that they couldn't shoot, sub-minute of angle groups or sub-1 inch groups with factory ammo, but they couldn't do it with every factory ammo, and it took a while to find the right ammunition. So we basically just started having custom ammo made for us specifically so we could tell our customers, shoot this ammunition, and this will show you what the rifle is capable of. And, as a result of having to provide it to our customers, we figured, well, we might as well sell it to everybody who wants to buy the best ammunition they can buy.
I'll have to have you back on the show another time to talk about all the McMillan history and current cool products you guys have on the market. But we're actually here today to talk about McMillan Merchant Solutions. And this is a credit card processing service that you have developed just in the past year. Is that right?
Well, that's correct. About 17 months ago, Bank of America came to my office. I had banked with them for about 12 years and basically told me that they no longer wanted my business and that I needed to find a new banker. And they told me because it was I manufacture firearms, and for whatever reason, they decided that they could do without my business. So I posted it on my Facebook page as just a way to let people know. One of the comments that I made to the guy who was in my office was that, well, you don't mind if I tell the NRA and SCI and everybody I know that Bank of America is not a gun-friendly bank. And so he said, well, you do what you must. So within an hour, I had posted it on my business Facebook page, and it literally went viral within a couple of hours. And almost constantly for the last 16 months, on a daily basis, I have been talking to people about that incident, people either checking to see that if it was true and show their support for me for having stood up for our Second Amendment rights and having done what I did, or to tell me stories about what had happened to them, how they were affected by similar situations, and how they've been treated poorly by the financial institutions. And I thought to myself, this industry has been very good to my family. 3 generations, 40 years have made a living in the firearms and firearms-related businesses. And I wanted to do something that would help strengthen the industry. So I went out and found a pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment credit card processing company. There aren't very many of them out there. The one thing that I did learn through all of these contacts was that it's very difficult to get credit card processing for e-commerce stores, for anything that's related to firearms. And there are more and more companies on almost a daily basis dropping their firearms-related customers. Square recently said no more firearms transactions. PayPal doesn't allow firearms transactions except on a face-to-face basis, which is almost never the type of transaction used by PayPal. Intuit, which is the QuickBooks processor, said no. I know personally 2 people that received a letter that said you need to find another processor by Friday because we're ending your account in 3 days. So I decided if I could give a good financial partner in the firearms industry that people could count on, that it would strengthen the industry. So I found this partner. The name of the company is Merchant Solutions Limited. They are definitely pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment. They're so much so that they even developed a product to solve problems that were actually created by PayPal's unwillingness to do firearms transactions. So they come up with Pistol Pay, which is a product that is specifically designed to handle firearms transactions between individuals, and not necessarily in the same state. And it's a safe, secure way for both buyer and seller to be able to conduct a transaction and know that they're going to get exactly what they want out of the transaction, or they'll call it off and nobody loses money on the deal.
So Bank of America called you to a meeting. Now, was this like your local branch of Bank of America?
Well, when they set up the meeting, I thought it was our annual account review. And when they showed up, one of the people that showed up was a senior vice president from an office downtown that I had never met before. Had never had a senior vice president come to one of these meetings, had them every year for 12 years. And usually it was my business account manager and my regular banker. And they would show up and we would talk about how they could be a better bank for me and how they could provide more services and how they could make me more successful. All the while, how I could be spending more money with it, which was the whole point. Right. But this time I knew something was different. They sent somebody in here I didn't know that didn't know me and didn't know my account. So I suspect that somebody said, we want you to go in there and tell them to find another bank. And so that's what he did.
I can imagine that Macmillan is no small customer either.
Well, in the scheme of things, when they were defending themselves, they said, no, we don't have any policy against doing business in the firearms industry. As a matter of fact, we just finished a $250 million deal with the Freedom Group. Well, I guess that means that if you're not a really big player in the firearms industry, then we don't want you. But if you really bring in a lot of money, then you're okay. But I think that they assumed that I would just take the news quietly and go away, and there would be no repercussions, and they would have one less firearms manufacturer on their books. Little did they know that people who are gun lovers and who really love our Second Amendment rights and will stand by and defend it under any aggression, they let Bank of America know exactly how they felt about that. I'm aware of many millions of dollars in accounts and credit cards that were canceled because of this. As a matter of fact, Ducks Unlimited, their main office, sent me an email, said that they had a meeting as a result of my post on Facebook and decided to change banks as a result of it. So that's pretty good support from a large organization that obviously feels like their money could be better spent with another bank.
Kind of blows me away that pretty arrogant of them to think that they can push you around like that.
Well, they're multi-billion-dollar corporation, publicly traded. They don't really have much respect for anybody that is a small family-owned business that can be swatted like a fly and just go away. At least I think that's what their thinking was.
Well, I love how you decided to innovate, create something new here that's never been done in the firearms industry. If essentially now the firearms industry has their own payment processing solution.
Well, I hope that everybody starts to feel that way. I will be honest that the credit card processing business doesn't have a tremendous reputation. In the last 15, 20 years, since the bank was ordered to divest itself of one side of the transaction or the other, there have been a lot of businesses come and go and a lot of promises made and not kept. And so the industry doesn't have a real good reputation as it is. It can be a very lucrative business, and people are pretty cutthroat when it comes to making easy money. Now, my reason for being in this business is it's twofold. One, I want to strengthen the industry by providing a good, solid financial partner. And two, I want to give back. I want to give back to the organization that and the industry that has provided a great living for me and my family for 3 generations. So a percentage of everything I make in this business is going to be donated to the organizations that support our industry, like the NSSF, the organizations that fight for our Second Amendment rights, like the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, and the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, and to the organizations that support our way of life that we chose as gun owners and hunters, Safari Club International, Dallas Safari Club, Wild Sheep Foundation, and Ducks Unlimited. So a percentage of everything I make is going to go to one of those organizations. And the cool thing is that I'm allowing each of the merchants that sign up with me to let me know which of those organizations they would like me to donate to. And then the percentage of the money that I'm going to donate as a result of having their account will go into the organization that they want me to support.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we spoke briefly about how the merchant's processor was pro-gun and pro-Second Amendment. He liked that idea so much, he's going to match me dollar for dollar.
Wow.
So now we have, not only am I donating the money, but Chapman Ducote, who's the CEO of Merchant Services Limited, is going to match every donation I make dollar for dollar.
That blows me away. You should have seen me reading you sent me over a few documents to look over, and I was smiling ear to ear when I saw that bit of it. So, guaranteed lowest rates as well, or you'll pay $500 out of your pocket?
Well, a part of what the relationship that I struck with Merchant Services Limited is I said, my story is compelling and people will want to get involved because they'll want to support the industry and that they'll want to support these organizations. But to be perfectly honest, business people are business people. And the bottom line is most important. And if we can't save them money, we're not going to be able to get them to commit to us and so that we can do this good work. So you need to make it so I can make some money. And as I told you, it's not about the money for me. Now, I will be honest. I have to be successful or I won't be able to donate any money. So this whole project will be for naught if I'm not successful. But because it's not about the money, I was willing to make a deal with the processor that may not have been as lucrative as it could have been in an effort to make sure that we had the money available to us to cut the rates as low as we possibly could so we could save everybody some money. And I'll be honest, we have not found anyone so far that we haven't been able to beat the rates that they're paying.
Your PDF brochure looks pretty compelling to me because I have a little bit of experience with some online e-commerce, and I had a credit card e-commerce solution at one time, and I believe I paid a setup fee for that, but with you guys, there's no account setup fee.
We work very hard, and we know that customers, once they've signed up with us, they're going to be customers for life because we're going to treat them well. We're going to be there when they need them. We're going to help them expand their business, and we're going to provide them everything that they need in order to be successful. So we're not worried about them leaving us. So we're ready to make an investment up front by providing all these services and doing these things without any money up front from the customer, because we know that they'll be with us long enough that we'll be rewarded in the long run.
It looks like you provide solutions from anyone from like a mom and pop local gun shop up to a big e-commerce website.
That's true. One of the biggest things that we had when I was negotiating with MSL is that I said, the one thing I know that some of the smaller accounts aren't that favorable as a business, and it may not be your model to really seek out these types of accounts. I said, but when I tell people I'm doing this to strengthen the industry and I'm doing it because I want to help the people in the firearms industry, I have to be able to offer this to everybody out there, no matter how small their accounts are. So we actually devised a program specifically for micro merchants, which will have a $10 monthly fee and then a 3.75 flat rate. Now, people say 3.75, that's a pretty high rate. Well, it's not really when you look at that's 3.75 across the board. It doesn't matter what kind of transaction you're doing. It doesn't matter whether the card's present. It doesn't matter whether it's a qualified, non-qualified. That's just the flat rate. And it means that if you don't make any transactions in 1 month, your bill is only going to be $10. There's not a $25 minimum fee tacked on there because you haven't done enough transactions to make it profitable for us. So,
well, that's huge for a lot of the small guys. I know a few of them are $50 a month minimum fee.
Yeah.
So $10, that's it. That's incredible.
Well, we want to be here to help the companies grow, and for these people to have the opportunity to be able to grow their business, and eventually we will work them into the account that makes sense. And they'll get the best rates possible, and it'll be the most cost-effective for them. But until they get the kind of transactions totals that warrant that, we need to be able to provide them something so they can get these transactions done without having to use PayPal or Square or some of the anti-gun companies out there.
So tell me about your mobile payment solutions. When I heard about this, that was my first thought. Well, things like Square and that's kind of the way of the future. You're going to need something that you can use off of an iPhone or iPad. But I guess you have that figured out too.
We actually have that too. We call it a dongle, just like a Square deal. You plug it into your phone. There's an app on your phone that'll allow you to plug in all of your different information that you need, taxes and everything. Once you swipe it, you can even have your inventory on there. It goes right into your regular processing channel as if it were, done on the computer online. One of the products that I really like, and I really try to talk customers into it if there's any way at all that they can afford it. And in a lot of cases, companies are giving equipment. Obviously, we can't give equipment to small micro merchants whose account would never pay for it in the history of their account. But we sell the products at our cost. We don't mark up the equipment at all. But there is one 3G terminal that is just like the terminal you might have sitting on your desk, except it runs off a cell signal, and you can take it anywhere you've got cell signal, and you can run a card through it, punch your numbers in, and it prints out a receipt right there. And to me, seeing that kind of a piece of equipment gives me much more confidence in the security and the professionalism than seeing somebody with an iPhone and say, well, I can email you a receipt or, So that's something I think really is a product that we have that really makes a lot of sense.
Well, it sounds like that would be even good for like gun shows and venues.
Exactly.
Like that.
A lot of people want to have those receipts for their gun shows. When they're walking out the door, they want to prove that they've paid for that. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Security is usually pretty heavy at gun shows.
Yeah, there's usually a few people with some deterrent.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. So how, because I know for a fact we have listeners and viewers that actually own small gun shops and maybe even larger ones. But how do they get in touch with you and get the ball rolling?
If you want to learn about the McMillan family of businesses, you can go to McMillanUSA.com. You can see the McMillan Fiberglass Stocks and McMillan Firearms Manufacturing. If you want to learn specifically about merchant services, you go to MMSLLC.com. And we have a form right there on the front page if you want to fill out and let us know what you're interested in. It'll ask us certain questions. It'll give us your information, and then we can get right back to you with the type of results that you're looking for.
This isn't just for people that have existing processors set up. This is for new solutions as well?
That's correct. We'll work with the new people in business. There are a lot of people right now who have been selling at shows and stuff and want to start an online store. We're more than happy to work with the setup. We'll provide information about gateways and how to make it happen most effectively and get you up on and running as soon as possible.
Well, awesome. I can't thank you enough for creating this business that really provides a solution for the industry. So what does the future hold?
Well, I think that there are enough of us out there who believe in the Constitution and who want to uphold the Constitution that I think that we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they don't take our rights away from us. This is a step, a small thing that I can do to help strengthen the industry and to give other merchants, whether they're in the firearms industry or not, we want to market to everybody. And the nice thing about this is a guy's an avid hunter, but he happens to have a tire store. And he says, well, I really like that idea. I can support my Second Amendment rights and, Dallas Safari Club, for example, while, saving some money on my credit card processing. I'm all for that. So it's something that we want to do for everybody. That'll get everybody a chance to stand up for the Second Amendment rights and say, this is how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually already forwarded some of your information to my local gun shop. So
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, don't say it's just a small thing, Kelly. This is huge. This is beginning. I might begin a revolution.
Well, I hope so. I have been asked many times, why don't you start your own bank? Well, I don't have the wherewithal or the ability to start a bank, but I can do this, and I think this will be helpful to the industry. And I'm really happy that it's going as well as it has, and I think everybody's getting the message, and I think they're buying in.
Yeah, again, I can't thank you enough, and it's such a cool story of how you turned. It's kind of like the movie The Wonderful Life. You stood up to Mr. Potter and you made it work. So.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on your show. It's been a lot of fun. I thank you for that. And if there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have you on to talk more about the McMillan, the fun stuff, the gun stuff. Not that the credit card processing is fun, but
anytime. I'd be happy to come back.
Ballroom jeans, fire hose work pants, and long tail tees are three favorites among the men of Gun Guy Radio. Duluth Trading Company has perfected the art of clothing the manly man. If you want manly comfort that's trusted by these gun guys, go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth and check out the other manly essentials Duluth Trading Company offers gun guys like us.
All right, it's time for the Brownells Product Spotlight, but first I'd like to remind you to go to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction because Brownells provides selection, service, and satisfaction. So gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. Welcome back to the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight, and we have our special correspondent, Paul Levy, here from Brownells. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, we're back to talking about some AR-15 stuff. Again,
yeah,
what a surprise.
I try to bring on some different parts every once in a while, but we're always kind of drawn back to the AR-15.
Well, and we're talking barrels, so Brownells even makes barrels. You guys are surprising me every week here.
Yep, especially for those components that we find it hard to find in the marketplace, or it's something we find that our customers are looking for, and we're not getting it elsewhere. We just go out and do it ourselves and try to suit the customer's needs and wants. We, of course, carry a lot of barrels from a variety of manufacturers, but we came out with some barrels at a pretty sharp price point and some features we found a lot of people are looking for, and especially in calibers that are a little more difficult to find or especially hot right now. In particular, we came out with a barrel for the 300 Blackout. Most of the barrels are black nitrided, like this one right here. We have a few stainless models as well. This particular barrel has a carbine length gas system. It's 16 inches overall, 5/8 24 muzzle threads, which fit most 30 cal muzzle devices. Black nitrided barrel extension. It's properly torqued on, which people can run into with black nitrided barrels. You have to be careful with how this treatment is done. If you don't properly torque this, it comes undone when there's so much heat applied during the salt bath nitride process. So it's a very hard finish, but it's kind of tricky to get applied right. 1-in-8 twist on this particular barrel. We also have a lot of 5.56 barrels. Most of those have 1-in-7 twists to suit the 62 grain or the heavier stuff people are wanting to shoot. Those have half 28 threads, of course. Pretty much all those are black nitride as well. We do offer a 20-inch stainless barrel. The black nitrided barrels are 4150, and the stainless barrels are 416. So you get the best quality materials to suit your needs. Also, a nice little feature that a lot of barrel manufacturers overlook is just having a dimple on the opposite side of the gas port.
That is handy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you index that gas block, it's not going anywhere. You know it's properly aligned. It's not scooting forward on you, especially if you have the set screws.
You don't have to blow through your barrel to get it lined up.
Yeah, and you don't want to be drilling into the nitride finish afterwards. It's not an easy finish to get through with your standard drill bits. So that's definitely a nice feature. And also, like I said, we have the 300 Blackout, 5.56, and then we also have in stock right now some 308 barrels, which are kind of tough to find right now, actually. This is the DPMS pattern, so it's not AR-10 compatible, unfortunately. But will fit the most common DPMS barrels or upper receivers out there and bolts out there. Just make sure it's DPMS pattern. This is a 20-inch barrel. We also have a 24-inch barrel currently in stock. We're working on getting some other lengths in for 308. Some neat lengths that you're not seeing out there, 14.5-inch, 16-inch 308 barrels, which can be fun. These also have M4 barrel extensions. I should have mentioned that on the other barrels. M4 barrel extensions. This one's also got a black nitride finish. 1-in-10 twist on this 308, and still got the gas port dimple right there. Really some solid barrels. They shot pretty well for us. We're pretty pleased with them.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I'm impressed with your selection. You have, what'd you say, 17?
Yep, we currently got 17 listed. There's some that are up for pre-order. We hope to have those in stock soon. And we tried to give everyone a nice mix of barrels. Not everybody wants a 16-inch carbine length barrel. So we got mid-length in there, which of course is well known for shooting a bit softer. Guys building a SBR or a pistol. We got 10.5-inch barrels. And then the 18 and 20-inch. 20-inch is often overlooked. It's a great shooter. It's the original length. My favorite AR to shoot is my 20-inch. Just M16 clone. I'm a retro guy. Maybe we'll have one of those barrels soon too. But
well, very cool. And these are also made in Iowa. Is that right?
That's correct. We source these right here in Iowa. We try to source a lot of our products right here locally. There's a lot of great firearms manufacturers in the area. In Iowa, if you look over in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, it's amazing how many people are right here in the Midwest producing some great parts. So we didn't have to travel far to find some great barrels.
Well, awesome. You can check out these great barrels at Brownells or go to gunguyradio.com/spotlight for some direct links. And, I really appreciate, Paul, you bringing all these great products to our attention. Thank you so much.
Problem.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
All right. See you then.
And we're to the weekly giveaway. So this is a part of the show where we give away 2 $10 Brownells gift cards every week, totaling $20. And this week, Tim Burkett won. So congrats, Tim. And next week, we're giving away another $20 in Brownells gift cards. And you can subscribe by subscribing to our email newsletter list at gunguyradio.com/winner. And for the Firearms Insider podcast, I'm currently in talks with a few people that may be the hosts for the Firearms Insider podcast, but don't let that discourage you. We can always use more help at the Firearms Radio Network. And so if you think the Firearms Insider podcast is something you're interested in, send a demo on over, because our decision has not been made yet, to Jake at firearmsradio.tv. And we're looking for someone that can produce a weekly show, create all the content on their own, and focus on guns, gears, reviews, but not just that, also interviews with industry people and upcoming new products. So if you're interested, again, send a demo over to Jake at firearmsradio.tv. And I'm also looking for a replacement to replace myself from the producer-host role at the AR-15 podcast. And Reed is going to carry that on. And he's looking for a talented AR-15 enthusiast to come up alongside him and produce the show and also be a co-host to him. So if you're up for doing a weekly show with Reed, recording every Monday night, you can send your demo tape again to Jake at AR15podcast.com would work, or at Jake at firearmsradio.tv, and Reed and I will take a listen and see what we think. And don't forget, the Firearms Insider launches October 15th, and help us raise $1,000 in 4 weeks, and maybe help us raise more than $1,000, because gosh knows I have enough bills to pay on the network. So if we break the $1,000 mark, it'll go to many of the other bills that need paid. So firearmsradio.tv/donate, and shout out to the guys who have already donated. I really appreciate your contribution to the community. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank Duluth Trading Company for sponsoring Gun Guy Radio. Go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth for all your manly clothing, or for the lady, the womanly clothing. Yeah. So gunguyradio.com/Duluth. And also like to thank Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design. He designed the brand new artwork for the Precision Rifle Podcast and the Competitive Rifle Podcast. So check out hunterofdesign.com if you need logos, websites, whatever. He can do it. Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design. And don't forget to shop Brownells using our affiliate link, gunguyradio.com/satisfaction, or click on any of the Brownells logos or banner ads on our website. I really appreciate it. That wraps it up this week. You can send your feedback to jake@gunguyradio.com. Record a voicemail message using the SpeakPipe plugin on the right-hand column of Gun Guy Radio. Don't forget to purchase your Gun Guy Radio stickers. There's also a link in the right-hand column. And please leave us a written iTunes review. It helps other people find the show. gunguyradio.com/iTunes. Facebook.com/gunguyradio. You can follow us there. gunguyradio.com for the show notes, of course. And remember, please join the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation, because they're one of the reasons that we still have as many gun rights as we do in this nation. So thank you to them. And don't forget to check out the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network, not just the new ones, but also the oldies and goodies. We have, I think, 15 shows, not counting the Squib shows. So go to firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. Well, thank you for listening this week. I really appreciate it. Again, a big thank you to Kelly from the McMillan Group for helping out this week and sharing his story and his new business venture with McMillan Merchant Solutions. So thank you so much, Kelly. And we'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.